Okay, so today I'm going to bring you a hip mobility loosener with your peanut or a tennis ball or a spiky ball if you want to. And it's basically going to help loosen off all your glutes, your buttock muscles, and everything kind of round in that kind of C-shape area. Really nice for anyone with any kind of lower back issues radiating into the buttocks, and a nice way to try and differentiate whether it's your back or your hip, and not to need a physio unless you really do. So hopefully you'll enjoy this video. So coming onto your mat and taking the peanut, and we're going to start by just loosening off into that kind of buttock area, so round that area there. So we're just going to lie onto it the same as we did with the lumbar release work, and just use our feet to kind of pull us forward and back. So we're really easing off into that area of our buttocks there. And then you can start to cross one leg over the other, just to add a little bit more load on the one side and then on the other. It just adds a little element of rotation into the hip. Okay, and just alternating between the two, or getting the both of them, rolling your knees round in one direction and round in the other, so it's right under the tailbone there, and then replace it down. Okay, now we're going to take the foot across the other knee, and we're going to sit onto the peanut, so it's now lengthways, and we're just going to roll side to side, so it's the peanut's lengthways, so we're just following it across, so I'm coming towards you and away from you here, and so I'm really loosening off from the tailbone out towards the main hip joint, so the bit in the middle, which gets into all your deep external rotators. We're not quite going right into all of them just yet because we need to come further round in order to do that, but we will. Okay, and you can either sink further back, so more into like a tricep dip, or you can start to come, and this is where we start to get into more of the deeper external rotators as we come forward. I appreciate not everyone's got this range of movement, so it's fine if your foot's here, or if you're slightly further back because you can't quite come forward, but the aim obviously is to get a nice open hip. So again, just rolling through. Okay, and then we're just going to sit all the way onto it, so I've now got my sit bone sitting in between, in the middle of the peanut. Okay, so, and you can kind of come through a little bit with your leg out straight, so you get right in around your coccyx there, so really low on your tailbone, in that bit between your tailbone and your sit bone, and then you can sit right the way onto it, so it's still on my right buttock, but I've now got the leg straight, so I'm just rolling over into that kind of fleshy bit between my tailbone and my sit bone. Okay, we're going to go through the hamstrings because they're a part of the hip. I'm slowly rolling out of my mat. So I've turned the peanut round, and it's now going across my thigh. And the key bit with hamstrings, so I'm going right the way up to my sit bone, and my sit bone's going in between the two balls of the peanut, and then I'm coming all the way back and I'm bringing my body weight over. So I'm just rolling pinning it out into the back of my hammies. And I can rotate my leg through and in. So I'm getting the inside and outside hamstrings, and then roll it all the way down, so I'm now under the knee. So I'm just going to shuffle back a little bit. Under the knee. So again, using the other leg to manoeuvre me through, making sure I'm getting the inside and outside hamstrings. So if you look at my foot, I can turn in to get more of the medial hamstrings, the inside hamstrings, or I can turn out and get more of the outside hamstrings. And then you can even go into a nice point into your ITB. So these all play a huge part in your hip mobility. Okay, so whilst we're here, we're going to turn onto our side and go into our ITB. So that's the band that runs down the side of the hip. So can you see I've got it under my right leg still, so I'm still on the right, but I'm really manoeuvring myself using the left foot and coming through, and I'm even slightly turning towards it. So can you see how I'm now going on to my quads as well? Horrible little points in there. Okay, and then I'm going to move it up. So I'm going to go into my pocket muscle just here. So it sits across there, your pocket muscle, your TFL, which is right at the top of your ITB. So if you've got a tight ITB, iliotibial band, then this is the one for you. So all those runners out there that need a little bit more knee stability or hip stability to save their knees, this is the one for you. A really nice one to do after you've been doing lots of running. Okay, so you can see it's right the way under my hip there, rolling all the way through and right up, and I'm now going over the hip bone itself, so the front of my pelvis, around that area there, just to make sure that I'm loosening it all off, so freeing off all the way around the nerves that feed into my thigh. And again, if you feel any numbness and you're struggling with it, just ease off, okay? Don't push yourself through numbness, that's not the idea. This is just to release off the connective tissue, the myofascia. It's not meant to be anything that's too difficult to do. Okay, and I'm getting really nicely into the glutes because the front ball of the peanut is sat into my TFL, just into my glute med and min, so the glutes on the side of the hip, and the back ball is going into my glute max, so that's the back buttock muscle, the bit that makes up your butt. And then you can put more focus on your buttock muscle by just having a slight lean backwards as you do it. So that's going into the side of my glute max, my buttock muscle. Oh, nice and painful points in there. Not too painful, but some definite trigger points in there, and easing them off. I'm right up to the top, so where it meets onto the top of my pelvis now. So almost kind of coming back full circle to come round, okay? And again, you can just start to ease into there. Okay, and then coming back, I'm going to turn this way so that you can really see it. But just coming through again, now I've got the peanut facing, so it's that way. Okay. So just easing through. And all the way up my tailbone. Okay. So, you know what you've got to do now. After you've done this little, and get all the way around that C shape, so I'm just easing into it. Coming all the way around. So if I show you from the side on. Coming all the way around, so I'm kind of moving with the ball all the way around, even though the ball's kind of facing the same direction, so it's horizontally across. Okay, so I've got all the way in around that sacroiliac joint, so right in where the glute attaches onto the pelvis at the top and where your tailbone meets your pelvis. We're going to do it the other side, so exactly the same, and you're just going to loosen it off. So I'm now on the left side, so just easing forward and back and getting right the way in round the top of the glute, and you can ease into the side. So I'm slightly tipping this way, coming back, oh horrible one there, into the piriformis there, ugh. So the ball that's closest to my tailbone there is sat right in my piriformis, which is the muscle that joins my tailbone to my hip. And then I'm going to straighten out the leg and come through it. So I'm starting to get into the hamstring. I'm over the sit bone now. And rolling through. Going all the way through the hammy, either side. Again, turning the foot in to get the inside hamstrings. Turning the foot out. Getting the outside hamstrings. Back to neutral. Getting them both, and then going lower down onto my hammy. So I've now got the peanut right under the back of my knee, and I'm rolling through there, and I'm coming all the way over that hamstring if I can, just to make sure that I'm getting all the way through to the attachments of the hamstring, which come over the knee, over the back of the knee, and join on underneath the knee. So we want to make sure that we roll over the back of the knee there. So you don't want to put pressure into that diamond shape at the back of your knee, because you've got blood vessels and nerve supply running through it, as well as lymphatic drainage, and it's a really tender point, so you don't want to kind of press too deeply. So it's really nice with the peanut because you've got the gap that gives it the space. Okay, and you can start to get into more of the adductor. So just into the bottom of that hamstring, turning the foot in, and into the quads and ITB on the other side. So I'm turning away from you, and you can see my foot's turning out. And then I can even go into side lying, so the other side, and coming through. Hopefully you can see that better from the different angle. Okay, my mat's escaping me. So coming back into the centre, and you want to try and get a little bit of rolling going on from the inside to the outside of the left glute. So I'm rolling side to side over it. So I've now turned the peanut into lengthways and I'm coming across it in the direction, so like a rolling pin, going out onto my glutes, onto my buttock muscle, all the way. And this all helps to getting the buns of steel that we all dream of. Can't strengthen something if it's tight and weak. You want to strengthen it when it's in a good condition, when it's all rolled out and all the muscle fibres aren't overlapping so much. They've got loads of room to manoeuvre. Okay. And you want to make sure that you do your TFL, your pocket muscles. So coming through onto that hip, again manoeuvring through, and I'm going to turn slightly towards the floor and rolling through. So you can see my back foot is actually just supporting me as I come onto it. And I'm coming over right onto that bone there. So I'm trying to avoid the bones where possible, but I am coming through to make sure that I get into all aspects of the hip. And there's some really nice points into the glute med and min, so the side glutes, the ones that go over the side of your hip, and into the back. So the front ball is over kind of TFL coming into glute med and min, and the back ball of the peanut is going into the sides of my glute max, which is the big buttock muscle on the back. And then we'll finish off coming into the lower back again and just rolling forward and back, and then hugging your knees, sending them round in a circle, one way and the other. And you can even go one knee one way, one knee the other, and in towards one another. And really easing off so that you can hug your knees right into you. And with the peanut right under the root of your tailbone there, you can do some walking on the ceiling, so really cycling through. And what you'll feel is your hamstrings are feeling nice and long and loose when you release them off right from the sacroiliac joint. And then we've got a little key one to finish, which you're going to love. Okay, so we've eased off into there, coming on up. The way to finish is placing it under your foot. So just roll it out, really rolling into the sole of your foot, get to the inside of your foot, so you're just rolling through and to the outside of your foot and to the inside of your foot and to the outside of your foot, and then making sure that the whole foot is over the ball. So you're really loosening off your plantar fascia. And what you should find after this is you've got loads of range in your hammies. You've got really nice range into external rotation and internal rotation. Lovely. Okay, hopefully your hips feel nice and loose following this, and you are raring to go and strengthen them with some glute exercises. Hope you enjoyed it.